Okay, so we're back on lesson 4. We're going to talk about the importance of assessment. So there needs to be teaching, there needs to be practice, and there needs to be assessment. But don't think about test or quiz when I talk about assessment, because when students are at home learning by themselves, they're going to have to be really self-reflective about whether they're getting it or not. So providing opportunities for students to practice and then for them to get immediate feedback on whether they're right or wrong really helps them understand if they're learning and if they need to reach out to you for some, more help, or if they're ready to kind of move on to the next part. So I'm going to show you how you can build in assessment features into your learning path that are quick and easy and help students get a feel of how they're doing. So let's go back to the learning path and okay, so I'm going to start here. This was one of our practice activities, but I want the students to be able to know whether or not they completed the activity and how accurate they were with their answers. So what I'm going to do is include an answer key that students can click on and see once they're done. So I'm on this slide. I added a text box that says click here for the answer key. Don't peek until you're done. So I do have an answer key already. So it is right here in my curriculum file. So I'm going to come down to this, and I'm just zooming in to make it a little bit bigger so that it's easier to read. And now I'm just going to use my screen snipping tool again to snip a copy. But this time, instead of pasting it, I'm going to just save it. So I'm going to save it to my desktop. Just name it key. Okay, and now I'm going to import that into my Google Drive. So I'm just going to upload that picture. So I'm going to file upload. I'm going to go back to here and open it. Okay, and so now it's going to upload this picture of the key so that I have it. Now I want kids to be able to access it when they're ready. So I'm just going to click, and like we did before, I'm going to click the Get Shareable link, make sure the link sharing is on, and then I'm going to copy it. And now back in my learning path where it says click here for the answer key, I'm going to highlight that and click the insert link. Okay, and now I'm just going to paste that there and click apply. So when students are finished and they've added their lines and they've done their work, they can click here to check out the key. It'll open a new tab, and they can even toggle back and forth to see how accurate they were. So that is one quick and easy way that you can offer a chance for students to check their own work and get a feel of how they're doing. So another way I want to show you is how you can use task cards and create them in a self-checking way. So that is on my plan. Over here, on Monday, I had self-checking task cards, and those came from page 51 of my work. So they're just my file of activities for symmetry. So zoom out a little bit. Okay, so there is one of my task cards. So I'm just going to use the screen snipping tool to get that task card. You will love the snipping tool if you haven't used it. It is one of my most important tools in my arsenal of teaching tools. So it copies it automatically. Now I'm going to go back, and remember this was on day 1. So I'm going to put my slide in before day 1. I'm just going to click insert new slide. Okay, I'm going to delete these things. And now I'm going to paste it here. So there is one of my task cards. So in order to make it self-checking, I'm going to have the answer right on the slide, and I'm going to cover the answer up so that when students are ready to check it, they can just drag away the cover up and find their answer there. So to do that, I'm going to insert a text box and just write the correct answer. So the correct answer for this one is B. Now I'm going to get a cover up picture, and I thought it might be fun. You can go to Google Images, but I do have the Bitmoji extension, so I found one that says, am I right? So I'm just going to copy that Bitmoji picture, and I'm going to paste it right on my slide. So there it is, and I'm going to cover up the answer. If you put a box around it, the students can tell that it's something that they can move. So they're going to answer the question, and then when they want to see, they can drag it away and see if they got the right answer. So you want to have more than one task card. So what you can do is duplicate it so that you don't have to start from scratch every time. So over here in the slide sorter, I have the slide selected, and I'm just going to press Control D to duplicate it, and now I have that there. So I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to go back to my task card file and screenshot number 2. So just really quickly going to get that, and I'm going to go back into my learning path and paste it there. Okay, and so now all I have to do is change the answer on this one, which it is also B, so I can leave it there. And now that task card is done too. So students are able to solve these really good problems that you would normally use in your face-to-face class, but they're able to see if they're right or wrong and able to figure out if they're going to need to ask for some more help. So that is another strategy you can use to take the resources you already have, make them self-checking, digitize them, and make them perfect for student remote learning. So I want to show you one more strategy. Another thing that I have on my plan is for students to take this quiz. We looked at it earlier when we were using Cam Scanner to import it. So I already have a slide set up for that. So here was the slide where we had them open the quiz in their new tab. And now I just added a text box that says click here for the answer document. So I'm going to use the amazing Google Forms to create a self-checking answer document for students. So let me walk you through how to do that. It's quick and easy. So I'm going to just get in a new tab, and I'm going to type form.new, and it will open up a new form. And I'm just going to give it a title, Symmetry Quiz. And I want to right away make it a quiz. So I clicked, let me show you that again. I clicked the settings gear icon and then the quizzes tab. And then I just have to slide this over to make it a quiz. You do have some options. You can let the students see all of this and then just click save when you're done. So now you're ready to create your quiz. The first question needs to be name, and I make that required. So down here is a button that says required. Okay, and now you're ready to get a new question. Click this plus sign to add a question. I'm just going to title this number 1, and I am going to make my option A, B, C, and D. Once you type A, it assumes that you're going to want A, B, C, and D. Okay, so those are my answer choices for the students. And now we're going to check the key. So down here it says answer key, and then it will let you choose the right answer. So basically just go into your quiz, figure out what your right answer is. I think it's B on this one, and then just click B as the right answer and then click done. So now we have number 1, we have the answer choices, and we marked that the correct answer was B. So now just get another question, and it is going to be number 2. And once you write an A, it'll let you add all, and then click the answer key. Maybe this time it is C. Okay, and you're going to continue this way until you've made a question for all of the questions that are in your quiz. So we have 10 of them. I would end up with 10 different questions plus my name question. Okay, so once you're done setting up your form to take your answers and you've put in the correct answers, you want to share this with your students. So don't click this button that says send. That's sending the editable form so other people can change it up. What you want to do is click on this eye icon that says preview, and this is what you want to share with your students. It has the quiz, the names, and it's the answer document. So all you have to do is click up here and copy the link, and then you go back into your learning path, and we're going to put the link here. So I'm highlighting where it says click here for the answer document. I'm clicking insert link and pasting it there and apply. So now the kids are able to take their quiz, and once they open it up, they answer the questions, they click here, and it will open in a new tab, and they'll have to write their name, and then they can start marking their answers. And when they're done, all they have to do is press submit. So let's just show you kind of what happens after. Okay, so submit. Now back in your original file that you created it, you now have a tab with responses. So when you click here, you can see all of the different information and who has taken your quiz. Okay, so those are 3 quick and easy strategies to build in assessment into your learning path so that you know exactly how your students, but more importantly, they know how they're doing. They're able to assess themselves along the way. So another important part about assessment is making sure that you use reflective questioning to kind of guide students into thinking about their learning and their thinking. So I'm going to go back to our learning path and show you how you can include some of this guided questioning inside of your learning path just to help students take their learning up a notch. So here we have this worksheet. We looked at it earlier. We linked it to the answer key. But the next slide I put in, I have students thinking about how they did on that assignment. So I just inserted a couple of text box. I said, think about it. And I asked them some questions. How did you do on that practice? Were there any figures that tripped you up? And now I'm going to take their thinking to another level by asking them, if you had a printed copy of the figures and a pair of scissors, how could you test symmetry? And so then I created a little text box for them to type their answers. So this is a simple, easy way to slow the students down enough to think about what they're learning and to take it to higher levels of Bloom's. So I have another one that I used. So after, let's see if I can find it. Okay, so after students worked on their task cards and had their answers, I inserted another slide into the learning path. And again, I said, how did you do? Take a screenshot of the task card you thought was the most difficult and paste it below. And then I asked them what made it the hardest. So basically, they would have to go back through their task cards and revisit them and think about which one was the hardest. And then they're just telling you here which one they thought was hard. And then they're also telling you why they thought it was hard, which is great information for you to take and then tailor your lessons and your communications with them to help ensure that they're learning. So that's it for assessment. Those are some basic strategies to get you started with assessing your students with remote learning. And the next lesson is going to be about communication. So stay tuned.